Program Director, Regional and Local Authority Leadership, representative of the Development Bank of Namibia, business leaders, members of the business community, young entrepreneurs, women entrepreneurs, invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon once again. It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to this important information sharing session with the Development Bank of Namibia. I am particularly encouraged to see so many young people, entrepreneurs, business owners, and aspiring entrepreneurs gathered here today. Your presence tells me that there is a genuine desire to build businesses, create opportunity, and contribute to the growth of our region. Too often, good business ideas never move beyond conversation because people do not know where to begin. Some believe financing is only available to established companies. Others are discouraged by application procedures they do not fully understand. Many simple do not know that institutions such as the Development Bank of Namibia exist to support projects that have the potential to create jobs, strengthen local industries, and improve communities. Today's engagement is about changing that. This is not a simple presentation about financial products. It is an opportunity to understand how a national development institution can become a partner in turning ambition into enterprises and enterprises into lasting economic value. Our region is rich with opportunity. We have fertile agricultural land, growing tourism potential, expanding trade, talented artisans, innovative young people, and resilient women who continue to drive business despite many challenges. What is often missing is not determination, but access to the right information, the right networks, and the right financial support. That is why today's session is so important. I encourage you to use this opportunity to ask questions. If there is something you do not understand about application process, ask. If you have an idea but are unsure whether it is qualified for funding, ask. If you need clarity on what makes a strong business proposal, ask. There is no better time to gain that understanding than while the experts are here with us. I also encourage you to think beyond seeking finance alone. The strongest business are built on preparation. They have clear plans, realistic financial projections, good governance, and thorough understanding of the market they intend to serve. Access to finance is important, but it works best when combined with planning, discipline, and willingness to learn. To young people, I wish to say this. The future of our region will not be shaped only by those who inherit businesses. It will also be shaped by those who create them. Some of the enterprises that will employ people 10 years from now may begin with an idea that is sitting in this room today. Do not underestimate the value of your ideas simply because they have not they are not still small. To the women gathered here today, your contribution to our economy is visible in every sector. Whether you are running a small enterprises, managing a cooperative, or planning your first business venture, your participation is essential to the economic future of Kavango East. I encourage you to make full use of this opportunity that will be presented today. To our established business owners, I encourage you to view this engagement as an opportunity to expand, innovate, and explore new partnerships that can strengthen your business and create employment for others. I would like also to commend the Development Bank of Namibia for bringing this engagement to the people of Kavango East. Developmental finance achieves its greater impact when institutions leave their offices and engage directly with the community they serve. Today's session demonstrates a commitment not only to funding projects, but also to ensuring that people understand how to access those opportunities. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope that when you leave this venue today, you will leave with more than brochures and contact details. I hope you will leave with practical knowledge, greater confidence, and clear understanding of opportunities available to you. The success of this session will not be measured by how many people attended. It will be measured by how many applications are submitted, how many businesses are established or expanded, how many jobs are created, and how many lives are improved, because someone decided to act on the information shared here today. With these few remarks, it is my pleasure to welcome you all, and I wish you a productive and engagement session. Thank you very much. Mpando imwa purake nenge. Nguro wazeni tutokore ni potat purake nenge tokat pura mapuro. Mpandu si.
Thank you very much, Honorable Governor of the Kavango East Regional Council. Wale kwakuzuvanga konyimoko? Okay. Aswa kapandora tupu. Aswa kapandora tupu. Governor gwetogwa wizard pe no remarks edaka tundapo. Wale before tukazigide next speaker tanika kamu na motubuka nunu asi inkewa uyunga ndi inkewa ninki mo speech zao. So before we call on our next speaker, I'll just go in our vernacular language just to reiterate what our Honorable Governor has just said, just for the benefit of those that could not hear him very well. Asi egwanikero letu lya neina kwali retesa ponyasi ngapi ezimberu ya zakarera po kukavatera wanangesefa ndi ababahara kurugana nongesefa omnaba kanika bakagwane mbatero ezina kaliwateresa nazo ipo bakaninke bakature monkudiza kora odonongesefa dao. Asi ruvezi rwa neina kapyaruka raponkenye suruo turusirugane senina awanye apanawa kaninga no presentation se twakara no mapuro asingapi novo raka gwanekera nombere wa za DBN okature me hundro logeli osiringa likawaterengese fazoge neina isusuro sosiwanye kenye elipuro tunakara nalio ndi kenye tupu tuna hara kuzuva tuzeni yene ina tukaipure ipwasha panatu katundomu tunapama tunakara no udiwi ona katu atera twachire nuoma ezimbere wako akarera po natu wenye iponya sturganseni ruezerwa neina yazuvika konyimo ko yazuvika ndi simpe tuzemo hena. Okay. Asi simpe tundindire ino tunapili ipundi kwa oda tai wiza pana wiza nat gwaneni tupu okunat vara kuhingira. Okay. Thank you very much for that. Inaika kwa makonya start kazeni ngano mono presentation. So our next engagement is very important. This is where we are going to speak about what DBN is doing in Rundu and what we brought for you. So let's listen very attentively so that as the governor has mentioned, when we leave from this place, at least we are well equipped with all the information that is needed to put in our application and so forth. Okay? So, but before we call upon our presenters, I would just like to call our CEO, Mr. Titus Ndove. Oh, okay. So, point of correction to that. So I'll call our director, Mr. Kamatuka, just to share a word or two. Thank you.
Guruveseni, Murekeni, Moro Mapenduka, Murinawa. Thank you so much. Honorable Governor, Tateha Munyela, we want to say thank you so much for receiving us in your region. He's a very good friend of mine in Windhoek. It's good to see him that he's back to his region to make sure that he develops his region and his people. Honorable councillors, especially our chairperson of the regional council, the other honorable councillors with us. We also have our CEO here, and also we are accompanied by other directors of the Development Bank of Namibia. We would like to greet you to say, hello Rundu, hello. Hello Rundu, hello. The DPN of Namibia, which is the Development Bank of Namibia, is a bank that has been created by this government. 2002 is by the Act of Parliament. The government said after independence, we must have a development bank that will go out and develop this country. And this country must be developed by its own people, and it is us. And therefore, as one of our strategical pillars, we said as directors, let's go out to the regions, let's go and meet our people, especially the business people, the entrepreneurs. I'm together with other directors here. As you know, at the bank, we have 8 directors, of course, with our CEO included. CEO, I'm correct this time. And non-executive directors, I'm together with Director Bonifacia Sitekela. If you can stand up, please, and say hi to your people.
Ngroa zeni, edina liange nyamesteketa Bonifacia siako, amem na gemevu, amenamek seva ngagumwe gowa board of directors ko Development Bank, Pandu.
Well, I'm just going to repeat what Director Kamatuka said. He said, hello, Rundu, hello. My name is Desiree Masheshe. I also serve as an independent director at the Development Bank of Namibia.
Thank you. And our chairperson of the bank is Mrs. Evangelina. She is not here with us. Of course, she sent her greetings. We are traveling the whole country. We've been to all many regions. Yesterday we were in Omaheke region. The whole was packed like this. We are glad to be now here in Rundu. And here you are. We are saying at the bank, let's create millionaire. It's about time now for us to make sure that we are actively participating in the economic development of our country. So we are saying, CEO, let's go to the people. Let's go and tell them about our product. How can the people access our product? Because we are hearing some of you were calling us, yeah, Development Bank of Namibia is not good, too many things, they're asking a lot of things, they are not approving. Now we are here today. We have set aside this day for Rundu to come and listen to you. And Governor have put it very well. Hopefully by the end of today, through our regional manager, Mr. Dinyando Engelbrecht, we are going to have a lot of applications, serious application. Those who really want to make business, those who really want to develop this region and to take Namibia further. The governor has said it all. And hopefully those applications are going to be approved. We, as you know, there is also the Youth Development Fund. The government have launched. DBN is one of the agencies that is facilitating it. I hope there are young people here, young entrepreneurs who have applied. Maybe your application hasn't been approved. Maybe it was approved. We are going to hear it tonight. Please ask question why yours hasn't been approved yet. We have also another product, DPN for hair. That's for our women. As you know, Honorable Governor, it's a policy of our government because of inequality in our country. We are saying let's take programs, special program, targeting our women. And we are doing that at the DBN. We have listened to the call of the government that our women must have specific, special product for them to cater for their needs. And that's what we are doing also. So this night, DBN is in Rundu the whole day. Tomorrow we are heading to Kavango East, the same, to Kavango West. This is the East, we go to the West. We're still getting confused because you have two regions now, West and East, East and West. So we're going to tomorrow we are going to go to the West, and then we move on to the other regions. So DPN is traveling the whole country, and with one message that this generation, it is our time now to make sure that we are effectively participating in the economic development of our country. This is the message what we have brought to you, and please, we are encouraging you to ask. Therefore, we have brought the whole management of Development Bank of Namibia. The CEO is here, his managers are here, they are going to do presentation, they will be willing to listen to the question. We are here the whole night. If you want to go and sleep, you go and sleep, is your problem. But we will stay here to make sure we assist you, we answer to all your questions. And I really want young entrepreneurs really to get involved. Let's make sure that we create more millionaires now. Namibia needs us, and we have to stand up. It's our time to be counted. So I wish you good luck, and I shall now call upon the CEO to come in and start to talk to you and engage with you and do the presentation. So hello, 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 Kavango East, hello. Hello, Rundu, hello. DPN is here, DPN. DPN, DPN. Yes, we are here for you. CEO, will you please talk to your colleagues and tell them about our products? Thank you so much. All the best.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, okay. We are not seeing. Good evening, everyone. Hello, hello. I can't compete with the director. My name is, as we introduced, I'm Titus Ndove. I'm the CEO of DBN. And let me thank you, Honorable Governor, Honorable Councillor, your worship, in absentia or in present. I didn't see him now. And esteemed entrepreneurs. Thank you so very much for coming. This is really exciting for us to see really a big crowd wanting to listen the offer or what DBN is offering. At this juncture, let me introduce my colleagues at DBN. They can just stand, and I will introduce them slowly. Maybe let's start this side. Yeah, that's Nelson Simasiku. He's the head of SME. All small businesses, including National Youth Development Fund, falls under him. That's Cliffy. She's the head of investment, meaning all the large infrastructure for DBN. And my younger brother here, Jerome Mutumba, is the head of marketing and corporate affairs for DBN. And we also have Sendane right in front, and maybe the other colleagues are assisting. And coming now, this tall gentleman is Nikki Mutenda. He's our chief of finance. We call him the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. Really, as my director has already introduced DBN, DBN is a premier national development bank of Namibia. It's been in existence almost 15 years now. And thus far, we've really been focusing mainly on larger infrastructure. Larger infrastructure is roads, power plants. It's really those ones. But most importantly as well, we've also been taking care of the smaller businesses, the SMEs, up to 10 million. We've also been taking care of all those businesses. Let's say hello to our governor. Governor, thank you for coming. So in other words, really, if you're looking at the menu and the offering of DBN and solutions, they actually cater for almost all your circumstances and all your developmental needs. So we really have a lot of products. But as was indicated already, most of our products are not well known. They are not well known. That's the reason why we are here, to create awareness and ensure that you participate meaningfully. These products are for you. This bank is for you. And really, we're gonna do two presentations, very detailed one. One will focus on the large infrastructure. There are businesses here. There's a town council, which is also our potential clients. And they are entrepreneurs, esteemed entrepreneurs like yourself. So we're really gonna go in details. And after that, then we'll do Q&A. We'll do Q&A, and you're really encouraged to ask all your questions. We are the first one to admit that we have done well as DBN. Past 15 years, we lent out more than 22 billion, and the number keep on increasing. But the question you should ask ourselves, did you benefit? Did you see the benefits which DBN is offering? Perhaps not all of you. Some of you, of course, benefited. So what we want to do now going forward, we have a new strategic plan ending 2029, which is basically aligned to the national agenda and vision of government, which is basically captured well in the NDP6, which our president always talk about. We are aligned to that fully. And however, we are saying in our visions, in our philosophy as the bank, do we have all the voices of people of Kavango East? And we are saying maybe not so well. That's why we are here, and we are to listen. When we listen to you, some of those aspirations will be captured in the plans of DBN. That's why we are here. Our plan is not to fix in, as they say, it is really there to change and accommodate what matters to the people of Namibia. That's why in the mandate of DBN is really to take care of the well-being of the Namibian people. That's at the heart of the Development Bank of Namibia. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let me introduce Cliffy, our acting head of investment, large infrastructure, as we just talk about the general offerings and solution DBN offer, and in particular, she will also focus on DBN for her, a very exciting product for women. Thank you. Cliffy?
Morokeni, Ngurova Zeni, Tuawiza Morundu. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's our pleasure to come here and to present to you what we can offer to you as a region. So first, let me start by showing you what we have done in the Kavango East region for the past 10 years. Okay, so we have invested 154 million for the past 10 years in the Kavango East region. What we have done is we have invested the first three sectors that are shown here is housing, construction, and business services. So that has taken up the bulk of our investment in the region. So in terms of what DBN does, our CEO has said that, okay, just a moment. Okay, our apologies for that. We just noticed that some of you this side did not see our presentation. So that's why we had that little interruption. Our apologies for that. So in terms of DBN, what do we do? What are the typical loans that we advance? What are we actually there for? What do we do? So we lend to Namibian registered businesses. So we lend out to legal entities. You need to be a registered entity. So my presentation is more about large enterprises. So on the National Youth Development Fund, there are a few concessions there, but when I speak, I'm actually speaking of large enterprises. We finance project finance structures. We have corporate finance structures. So what project finance just means is that if you have a specific project and your income is derived from that specific one, that income can be earmarked to repay the loan. Whereas if you have an existing business and you want to expand your business and you need funds, we can look at your whole business for the repayment of the loan. So what sets the DBN apart from your conventional commercial banks, other commercial banks? What makes us different? Okay, it's because we have longer terms. We can offer longer terms, especially on infrastructure. Let's say if we have to fund your road systems, your electricity systems, those systems that we will fund will be here for the longest period, for decades. That's why we are able to go up to 20 years for infrastructure facilities. And then we also have grace periods of up to 3 years. I don't think you will find those grace periods at commercial banks. So what a grace period means is that for the first 3 years, obviously depending on your project and so on, you do not need to pay the bank for that period. So what it allows you to do is to focus on investing in your business time and structuring your business accordingly. So we can do that up to 3 years. And then we can also give loans up to 390 million. But if your project is more than that, you can still approach us. We can still fund you by co-funding with our development partners regionally as well as local commercial banks. What we also, especially on the large enterprise side, is to also see that you as the entrepreneur, as the owner of the business, also puts in some money. Okay, and then we want to support projects that have high development impact. Because we are a development bank, we want development to happen. So these are usually projects that ensure that there are jobs that are created. These are projects that ensure that there are export earnings for the country, and also projects that are there for import substitution. So you will see we import a lot of goods. So you can identify and say, let me start a business that substitute a portion of that products. And then I've mentioned earlier that we can also partner with other banks to co-fund large infrastructure projects. So what type of products do we offer as a development bank? So we have a huge bouquet of products that we can offer. We can offer asset-backed finances. So most of us probably are aware of vehicle financing, which you get from banks, where your vehicle is like collateral to the bank. We can also do that for your business. And then we have various business loans. Whether you need working capital, you need a term loan, we can also do that. And then contract-based finance. This is financing that we can give with the contract as the underlying collateral or income stream. So usually state-owned enterprises, government ministries give contracts to do a business, to deliver a service, or perhaps to construct a school, and then you can approach the DBN to help you with this funding. And then also various property financing facilities that we have. As a government development bank, our priority sectors are closely linked to NDP 6. So here are a few priority sectors that I've highlighted: bulk water and sanitation, transport and logistics, electricity, agri-value chains, and agro-processing. So here I just wanted to mention that we have AgriBank, and I say AgriBank is also represented in Rundu. So AgriBank finances primary agriculture, where you want to buy a farm and cattle. But any value addition or processing that you want to do on that farm, DBN can finance. And then health and education, as well as green infrastructure. So ladies and gentlemen, this is actually where it becomes more interesting, especially for our women folk and our men folk that are also here to support the women. So we have introduced and created a new product, the DBN for Her, which is a facility specifically for women-owned entities. So because we have realized that women are not borrowing as much from us, and we investigated why. So that is actually why we have come up with these products, the product DBN for Her, so that we can assist our women. So when we analyzed our own data, to look back, since we started, how much have we given to women? Have we really done well for our women? We've noticed that we've only given 14% to women, and then 86% went to businesses that are owned by men. So which means that a majority of our business women, they had some obstacles that they could not get funding in order to grow their businesses. And this is actually the reason that we have created this product, to answer to the need that was on the ground. So DBN for Her was designed to be an intentional product, to be practical and to be responsive to the needs on the ground. So this product targets 100% women-owned businesses with at least 5 employees, or a business, a startup that intends to employ 5 people. And the loan amounts start with 150,000 up to 10 million Namibian dollars. And the interest rate here is prime. Prime is currently 10.25. And then a special feature of the Women DBN for Her product is that for the first 12 months of this loan, there is no interest that accrues to your loan. So there is no interest added to your loan. And then the first 12 months, you also do not need to repay capital. So let's say, for example, you borrow 5 million today. So on the 29th of July next year, your loan will still be 5 million. There will be no interest added. So at this juncture, we also just wanted to show you, the product was launched middle March and so on. So this data that we are showing you is for the past 3 months. So we have approved about 5.2 billion across the country, and Kavango East region actually has the highest approval of 2.3. So your women are definitely working, and we encourage you to continue to do so. Yeah, we can move. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, DBN for Her is more than a financing product. It is a commitment from the DBN to include women in the mainstream economy. It's a commitment from us to empower our women and to make sure that women entrepreneurs have the tools and the support that they need to thrive in their businesses. What I've also done is to just take you through a few, next slide. So I've gone through frequently asked questions that we get regularly from the market about this product. So a question that comes up a lot is, do I need an existing business to apply? No, both existing businesses and startups are eligible to apply. And then, how can we apply for funding under this initiative? You've got the regional office here, so applications can be found at the regional office, where they can also help you to complete the application. Or for those that have access to the internet, the application forms are also available on our website. How long does the application and the approval process take? So it depends on the completeness of the application as well as the complexity of the project. And it also depends on the amount that you are applying for. So let's say you are applying for the maximum amount of 10 million, you will have an approval between 4 to 6 weeks. Any specific sectors? No, any sectors across the economy is acceptable. And the interest rate is fixed at prime, which is currently 10.25. So it will fluctuate if the prime rate goes up or down, but there will be no addition to the prime rate. And the details about the 12-month interest rate. So if I can just emphasize, for the first 12 months, no interest is payable. And then you also do not need to repay capital for the first 12 months. So for the first 12 months, you can do your business and concentrate on other areas without having to worry about the installment. And then the credit guarantee is part of the DBN for her product. So what does this do? A credit guarantee is a facility that is underwritten by an approved third party, and it gives collateral to the bank. About 60% of your facility will be secured. So that kind of relaxes the burden on you to provide your own house or your own investment as collateral. And then you do not need to apply for the credit guarantee separately. It's part of the same application. So what makes this product different from other products is this is the only product in the Namibian market where you will get no interest accruing to your loan for the first 12 months. The interest rate is also only prime, no additions to it. So there is nothing else in the market like that. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, Mpandu Nene, oh, Mpandu.
Yeah,
Must I
just a
stand
bit.
here?
Yeah, it's fine, so I can go through the slides. Yeah, it's fine. You can just stand. Asi vampandira unene kuimna purake ne kozozo presentation. Inakaranya skapsi potuna huliri hapa. Ose tunakuliziwa ngwindia swara kapwaga mosi mbeka piapu. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. Okay, waleti peko tupuwa kwetu awana kasimba ipundi ponze kampito gona, ndika ruweze gona. Tani natukaza monye tukamu kamene moka ununu asi inke as presentations akatunda mwasi inke ina wana turetereko. Asi ose tunapili ipundi tunakaramonda ipundi ya sikipo ili ponze tugwane niko nye sipundi ipo tuya hingere pura kine nawa. Ashes presentation azikakuwa mako presentations atambanya sko youth. Nazkareta mo natka presentanye no product dakarasi datamba kwetu se tunakarasi wanona gona tunahara kulihame sera mongesefa. So Nelson, I'll just speak a bit.
Yeah?
I'll
You are?
just speak a bit on
What she
yes,
presented.
I'm
Okay,
presenting
then
our
you let
local
me know.
language, then yeah, then I'll-
Did you order more of the chess?
When we Okay, pardon us. We're just waiting for the colleagues that are fetching chairs outside to get seated, then we continue with our program. Are we all seated? Can we continue? Okay, thank you very much. Just like I mentioned earlier on, so I will just try to translate the previous presentation. I will use Rukwangali. So I won't go through all the details of the presentation, but I'll just try to be brief in the best interest of time. Asi wale tatkampura tupurweze, mukapengeke korweze, omunani kama moka ununu, kwa hiyo inawana tupe, na presentation zaka tundamo, unene po marohape na punaka rasi, no information, do mulio unene, natkavra karuga nesa, pokagawamo mahunduro getu gosilinga, eznazika kwate sakono ngesefa detu. Okay? Asi unene po mo presentation zaka pita po kwa karamono ngwendi no product dongani. Anka kwa manyas po kuware kera, asi kwetu ose kurharu etu, asi kombere za Development Bank of Namibia. Kwa ziga unu na pawali, o kukorharu mwe asi kugawambatero konongese fatina dina karas dononene, ediwana kutumburasi large enterprise. Ano edi kuware kera po 10 million ikandwise. Asi nompito do karangoso kodili, unene po nompito do kadigwananyas mono project andi monongesefe daha mene ngwe kudika wale mambo. Sene nyas mwakara kone evuli enene apa muna haraka dikira mambo wale mkarandese kwa wantu hena okuli karera. Asi nompito do karangoso podili, omo Kavango zetu ndimo rundomu twagawako silinga ndi twafandinga ko do project do karangoso. So nsenes makara nevu makara no ihepana inye ya pumbwa wakamu watere kwa dono project do karangoso asinga kuhedera tukombere wazetu na totatuka muvura kumu watera. Tani kodili hena nompito dakara pasi kuvura kuka kwafa wanangesefa awahara kaninka matungo gakarenya siwale matungo kokurga na nongesefa ngwe twa kutumbura ntantanya siwale no mall no ikwa oyo na dono mpito do karangoso kodili sene nyasi hepana nye poili evuko lili mbapira na nye nongesefa nga kuvura kukavatera tani hena wale simwe somule unanvura kutumbura pasi mbere wa zetu azo kuvatera nongesefa eya kutantanya kukavatera ngwe ngesefa zakara pachango mwakazi ninkanyasi mwakapura epolisi ro wakamurejista kuna tumbura sko bipa no ikwayo kapyawa mkondi godoropa ntani wana kuyasika waletu wafu madekeni. Asi kapi wana hulilire, ko ili kaiwa kwatayo wana kuya sikaporvezioru, ko ili nakuhoroka konombere wakuna ko regional council, iko kawa karantani waku manguruka ntani iyo waku ya tu guananyoko. You are welcome, your worship. Ya asini tukire popena, asi tusiguseni asi DBN kawatera. Ngwe nongesefa edi dakara pachangwa twakadire register kwa kobipa tan dakara no ihe panainye DBN kapya watere asmom na karapanya mangengesi as Engelbert ni wize no ID zangyasi kwa apply wako adono watero la DBN kupitira mo registered business in other words. Okay. Se makara yeno ye poyo, makara nono ninke dongesefa, asinga kwedra kombero wazetu. Se kukagusa kwenye mo construction kodiri hena, nompito dimwe ngwe mwina wadi lista, asi edi art fundinga, ndi edat gawa mbatero. Okay? So kagusa konyo do kodiri hena dakara po oseto hakara ngwendi aswale mongesefa zokuninka logistic ndi asimo magendero na do no weta no pito do karangoso podiri edinye wana kutumbras transport and logistics sene wale kuna haranye murandere ugendero woininke ni kongesefa zeni wale ntantenya skwa kara no store so sinene morundomu marose gwana ininke tu waliko South Africa makora kapna kara nazozo sigendero nyo soka simba ininke tu ko South Africa tu yarandeshomu asikuvura kwedera ngano mberwa zetu nazo kataru ranye po imbapira yeni asikuvura kama watera ndingapi tani korha rokuha menaye ko unandima as DBN kapia gawa mawatero ko unandima ngwende asipokuwarekera ngwende asitutandira asipokuranda vundi pokuranda faramandi pokuranda imuna nye DBN na wizamu nsene harama hina agagakaranya wale odipaga ngombe zoge uhara o rugane muhaka oline hina lina kuvura DBN alikurandere ndi nkenye tupuyimwe ya hara kunika kondi wale kwa karano makovi kwa karano madamate uhara kunika tamati sauce uhara ogna mahina gena DBN kuvura awizemu tani ndiyo kwa mena ya koninke yo karangoso asinga no odoido no mpito dimwe da karapo maranse ko diri dimwe di mwana tunwa karas makara no idea dongese fa marapapo ato kuvura kwedera kombero wazetu tatu ya taranyasi olio egano ndi ehehero makara na alio ngap natvura kuli watera no ninke tani kugusa koyo wanakatumbura po unene nyasi kozili funding zakara po wanakutumbura DBN for her eziko atumbukira ngano nyasi wa golikadi wanalitura momo nongesefa iyo ina wanakatumbura azozo mpe mara umokavango ketu koweli wamwe kawagwene konare ndikawa kawagwene no odono na approval do momo DBN for her asi eziko akakorange danya wagolikadi asi ipo wakalikwate waka wizemo unene mono ungesefa mora kwa mona ngwendi asi wagolikadi kapi walihamesera mono ngesefa makura DBN zakara mbanga ze pangero mbanga za karera pona venye kwa kwetekanya singapyo munatu reta wagolikadi nao walihamesera mono ngesefa iyonye wa reta ponyezi ozo products zo karangoso wana katumbra DBN for her asi azo ngano kwa zilonjire mwa machi mara kutundo po mwa machi dogrupa pataku ya gendera ko ili wagolika dinare wana benefitamu ipo entu ngakuningaso na golika ditwa karo mutu nakara nonongesefa mono mtwe tuhedereni kombere wokutu ya tariasi mapukururo tu ya kata tariasi mawamsinke natu ya gwanamo omo product eze ashezi product ni azo kunakaranya si no requirement dazonga badise supika kabdakara ngwe dodina dakarere pona dakere ponare mora kuningira si ipo awa kwetu wa harere maso walihamesere monongesefa ipo waka lihamesere mono urero kabisa sikakare ina wadi gopere walengwendi o inakara kapia kumoneka kunakara ponya singwe no futures dazo azo omomongesefa makona karati pasi wa golika diwelike kapsi tuvonge mo mugara setuvonga mo mkadi setuvonga mo mugara mbili ngoso za karanya sezingesefa kapsi wa golika diwelike tani azo kukenye ngesefa zo karasi zo kuninga magadi zo kuninga nomboroto zo kuninga yinke nanye za zeguru kasi senetu pasi ngesefa nganona watu tani kugusa koyo kwa kuyaninga nyasi ozongesefa ngazi ya kutenye vantu wokusika kwa watano waruga ninazuruga nezongesefa kapia karanya swakadi welike mara kuvura kuyakuta mutu mnamplino wagara mara owovenya kongesefa nye wakona karaswa golika dimo welike tani asikuvura muhundirenye mwazezi product warekera 450,000 to 10 million seniasi ole hundiro kwa karamo kachikwa mo mwaliwe ngano na watu tani bazitura hena nyasa zonga mbiliha senoza kwa peke apanoninga kwa kuundira imaliwa kuvura vakakuchache no interest dononzi mara kwa zezi product yezi azo vazitura nyasi mbili haipo zivatere vagolika diano walitura monongesefa ntani azo kugusanye komewacho kavareke karukwida oyo imaliwa ono hundire ndio imaliwa mbanga zinakupe ayo tazikakwata makwedi ndi asimvura apangazi kapwa mvura ntani yengo kavareka kutengwa idozo silinga omumo mvura ezita kutarere orugane ngesefa zoge ipo ngesefa zoge zisikame ngesefa zoge zipame ntani koili wana kuninkanya unene pongo mwetu omu kuchira kuhedera ko mbere waza DBN Kenya pasi mora asina wakakupura su ya watumbura moringiri sasa wakona kara no collateral makure ituna kuyunganya sezi mwazezi product koili watumbura si credit guarantee kuna kara nyasungwendi evatero linaka tunda wale ntante amengwe ko insurance na 20 idea sa insurance tokusa insurance zikuvatereko nyansene kamnaiga genda ezi insurance ngazi kavatukiremo ipozia kuvatere kufute ezingesefa oyo wana katumbura credit guarantee tani kugusa koyo se tutandanya wale owe kuna hundere imaliwa ozo 10 milioni odike wale hozo karangesi asipo oturemo ipito oturemo inke asizo ngesefa zoge eyo dikenye yonaika karanya sizo collateral zozo ndi kapnatu kakupuranya sokarete mo ininke yapeke anozo evangolio oruganso zo silinga odike ilionali kakarasi ilionali kakara collateral liolio so twa ikare nino womanyasi seno wizako DBN tatu ya kupura collateral tatu ya ninki asa awento tituren mwemboleni dia kara kokehem ndiko kaisosi ndikupiko ashoyo ininke yanare ngano yapwa so pa usupi asi presentation zina za tundupo iyo zina gawanyeze nasugu arame twazuvu moka ununu napa kakara mpito zo mapuro no malimbururo seka twazuvu pona wanawa opoi nazi kakara nyasi ninke mukapure mapuro so in short that's just the brief interpretation of the previous presentation. Allow me then to call my senior, my boss, to come give us a presentation on the SME part of funding. Mr. Nelson Simasiku, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So it's charged and okay. Honorable Governor in absentia, His Worship the Mayor, Honorable Councillors, and most importantly, women, youths, and entrepreneurs in Rundu have already been introduced. My name is Nelson Simasiku. Some of you call me Zambwe, that will know me. I head the Development Bank of Namibia's SME department. Maybe just to clarify that the two departments that deal with loans at the Development Bank of Namibia is your investment department, represented by Cliffy. They deal with larger projects, your hospitals, your factories, your schools, and the revenue they generate is over 10 million, while the businesses and clients I deal with are those that generate an income of below 10 million. So from 100,000 up to 10 million. That is the difference between the SMEs and the larger enterprises. The first part of the presentation will touch on the National Youth Development Fund. I'm sure a number of you are aware, last year, government introduced a 500 million fund to address youth unemployment and to empower youths. The 500 million will be over a period of 5 years. In the first year, DBN was allocated about 64 million to provide loans to youths between the ages of 18 and 45. So the first part of the presentation will cover that. Just to give a brief background in terms of the objectives of the National Youth Development Fund. So when government introduced the National Youth Development Fund, the aim was to for youth participation in socio-economic development of the country. Because of the high youth unemployment, 500 million will be invested over the next 5 years. The second objective of the fund is to enhance financial literacy and investment readiness for youths to access finance. So the National Youth Development Fund provides literacy, financial literacy for potential clients and youths that wish to access money. It's also for skills and knowledge to run sustainable businesses through a mentorship program. So whoever has an approved loan under the National Youth Development Fund goes through a mentorship program. We don't only provide financing, but we also provide training to them. The second last objective is to obviously provide funding, which is loans. The minimum loan amount we provide is 60,000, and the maximum loan amount under the National Youth Fund is 1 million. The last objective of the fund is to stimulate and support cultural and creative industries, from your artists, those that are into crafts, and those that use their skills. Historically, these are groups that have found it very difficult to access financing for them to prosper and run their businesses. So if you are an artist, you are into music, they've sort of been neglected. There wasn't enough funding opportunities for them, and the National Youth Development Fund aims to address that and provide support to them. In terms of the implementing agencies, government has appointed 4 institutions to implement the National Youth Development Fund. The first one is obviously DBN. So we will provide SMEs, your general enterprises, and agro-processing, while AgriBank, on the other hand, which is a second institution, will do your primary agriculture. My colleague has touched on that. So if you are a farmer and you want to buy livestock, you can approach AgriBank. But if you want to run a butchery, for instance, because there's value addition and you are processing, then you can come to the Development Bank of Namibia and will provide funding. For crops, maize, if you want to farm into crops, you go to AgriBank. But if you want to do a milling plant, then DBN can finance. The third institution that was appointed by government is the Environmental Investment Fund, EIF. They provide your green and eco-friendly projects, those that conserve the environment. So Environmental Investment Fund is the third institution that is responsible for implementing the Youth Development Fund. And then lastly will be NAMPOST. They are not yet ready, but I'm sure soon NAMPOST will be the fourth and final institution that will be responsible, will be a fund manager under the National Youth Development Fund. It is important for NAMPOST because of their wider geographic distribution. NAMPOST has representation in almost every constituency, so it's very easy to access funding through NAMPOST. So when the fund was introduced, government provided guidelines to all the 4 development finance institutions. These guidelines are very important. They guide the Development Bank of Namibia in terms of handling the funds under the National Youth Development Fund. The first one is that these are collateral-free loans. You will not be required or requested to provide any collateral. The only collateral that will be required by the bank is if we finance you a vehicle, the assets that we finance or that vehicle or machinery becomes collateral for the loan. We do not ask anything beyond that. We also look at your cash flow or how much you expect to generate, because that's what will be used to repay the loan. And I need to make it clear, these are loans, they are not grants. So funding under the National Youth Development Fund will all be loans. And then for those that maybe have projects with government or institutions, We can also take a cession of contract income. If you are maybe given a tender to construct a school from the Ministry of Education, we can then give you money, and then the income you get from that project can be ceded to DBN to repay the loan. That is all we'll ask for. Within the National Youth Development Fund, we can provide grace period of up to 12 months, depending on the need. There is a standard 3 months grace period. If you require a much longer grace period, for instance, if you are putting up a guest house, and it will take you 3 months to build it, we'll give you grace period for the period you are constructing. And then if you still require a further 2 or 3 months to buy your machinery and advertise and market, so we can grant you a grace period of up to 12 months. These loans under the National Youth Fund will be repaid over a maximum period of 5 years or 60 months. So that's the maximum repayment period. If you borrow, then you need to repay these loans over a period of 5 years. In terms of equity or contribution, my colleague has indicated that the bank requires equity or contribution from the owners under the National Youth Development Fund. If you are not able to provide anything or contribute anything, we are flexible. It is not an issue. You can still get funding. We can provide 100% finance. Then there are guidelines provided by government in terms of pricing. So the maximum that you'll be charged is 6.75. That is the maximum interest rate, but the average pricing, if it's a startup, it's 2%. If you are expanding, then you'll be charged 4%. Your normal funding from commercial banks is in excess of 10%. And under the National Youth Fund, we want to make finance easily accessible and affordable. The pricing is limited to 6.75. For a startup, it will be 2%. There is a minimal charge of about 1% that will be charged on these loans. This is just to assist financial institutions in admin activities, if we have to do site visits, if we have to travel to verify for those existing businesses. There are also guidelines in terms of women empowerment spread. Historically, my colleague has indicated the majority of funding that has been provided by the bank went to men. So under the National Youth Fund, government has set a target that of that 500 million, at least 100 million or 20% must go to women. Then there is a target on marginalized and people with disabilities. No one should be left out. So at least 10% of that 500 million should go to people with disabilities and the marginalized ones. And then there's a regional spread. This is to ensure that I do not take all the loans to Zambezi. Even if I wanted to, it means Zambezi region can only, or any other regions cannot get beyond 30%. So no region will get more than 30% of that fund. It's to ensure that every region in this country benefits from the National Youth Development Fund. There is also a 20% allocation for regions that have previously been underdeveloped, like Kavango East, Kavango West, Kunene, Hartap, and Karas. Historically, even in terms of financing from DBN, they've not received approvals. So of that 500 million, 20% should be approved to these regions. And then there is a sectoral spread. We do not want everyone else to be doing retail. So of that 500 million, no single sector should benefit more than 20% of the total allocation. I'm not sure how clear these statistics are. So the first table on the top left in green, that indicates the number of applications that the Development Bank of Namibia has received in the past 8 months or since inception. When we started, we had 8,101 applications which were submitted through the regional governors' offices countrywide. The number has been increasing. As at end of June, the total applications that were submitted under the National Youth Development Fund is 10,345 in total across all 14 regions in the country. And then on the top right, next to the number of applications, is a spread of the regions. The highest applications came from commerce, That's the middle one, where 3,860 applications were submitted. It's then followed by Kavango East with 983 applications. So Kavango East, we received a total of 983 applications under the National Youth Development Fund. In terms of approvals, maybe this is where we have to admit we have been a bit slow, and we admit that we should do better. In total, there's been about 150 applications approved under the National Youth Development Fund. The highest approvals came from commerce, primarily because about 40 to 50% of the total applications are from commerce. The second region with the highest approvals is Erongo, which had 25, and then followed by Kavango East. Kavango East actually had 13 together with Oshana. That's as at end of June. However, I engaged my colleague, Mr. Linyando. We report these figures on a monthly basis. As at end of July, I'm happy to report that Kavango East has close to 20 approvals under the National Youth Development Fund. So Kavango East has the third highest number of approvals under the National Youth Development Fund. So Kavango West has 7 and Zambezi region has 6. Those are the regions that fall under the DBN's Rundu Regional Office. So they are responsible for the 2 Kavango regions as well as Zambezi. In terms of the total amounts, those 150 applications that have been approved, as at end of June, a total of 51.6 million in loans have been approved. So we were allocated 64 million. We have utilized about 80% of the annual allocation. In the next month or 2, we expect another allocation. As I've pointed out earlier, this fund is worth 500 million. So this is the start of the fund. It's the first year. And those guidelines that have been provided, we'll then be able to sit down and say which regions have benefited more and how do we balance and ensure that we follow the guidelines. So in terms of the approvals by number, as indicated, I've touched on that. Maybe the sectors on the top right, business services, 25 million of that 51 million was for business services. Then manufacturing sector had approvals of about 7 million, followed by tourism at 6 million, wholesale and retail, 4 million, transport and logistics, 4 million. Then there is health at 3 million, education, 3 million, construction and electricity. In terms of the regions, as indicated, commerce had about 18, Zambezi has about 5 million in approvals, while Kavango West has 2 million and Kavango East has 5 million. So of those 15 approvals to date, the total value of those loans approved is about 5 million. In terms of approval by gender, that's the bottom right table. So of that 51 million, about 36 million of that went to males, while the other 20 million was for females, and the 1.9 million went to businesses that are owned by both male and female. They might have 2 or 3 members that are owned by both male and female. The table on the far right is not so clear. That indicates the approval by constituency. The country has 121 constituencies. So far, about 55 constituencies have been financed. We haven't yet gotten approval in each and every constituency. Maybe it's not so clear. I know there are approvals in Rundu, rural, urban. I think in, Linyando, do you remember the other? Mashare. So there are approvals in about 4 constituencies in Kavango East. So the aim is to ensure that each and every constituency has approvals. We are definitely committed to that. It's just the first year or the first 8 months, and we are confident that we will reach each and every constituency in Kavango East. In terms of percentage, it just indicates that about 33% of the funding went to female, and with the males having about 65% financing. In terms of the use of funds, of that 51 million that was approved, 24 million went into business expansion. So these are youths that had existing businesses and they wanted to expand. 8 million of that, or the rest of the funding, then the 50 million went to startups, mostly spent on working capital, machinery, and equipment. In terms of jobs created, the table below the use of funds, in Kavango West, those 15 approved clients are expected to create about 67 jobs. So they will employ about 67 people. The diagram on the right just indicates the disbursement statistics, or how much of the 51 million that was approved has been paid out. In total, 21 million has been paid out of the 51 million. A further 10 or 11 million is ready to be paid out, and we are awaiting instructions from the approved clients to just give us instructions to pay out. So we can realistically say that what has been paid out is about 31 million of the 51. Room to improve. There are also reasons for that. We are more flexible under the National Youth Development Fund. We can approve you even if you do not have a registered business. But once your loan is approved, we then require you to register your business. And that at times, or quite a number of instances, we've seen that that period takes time. After approval, we wait for probably a month or two before we get all the documents from the approved youths. And that is why there's a difference between approved and what has been paid out. In terms of the progress to date on the National Youth Development Fund and key highlights, we've received 10,345 applications. Of those, about 50% have been appraised at 5,981. There are 2,227 that will be returned back to the applicants because they need enhancements or they are incomplete. Some of them are over the age of 45. So they are not eligible for funding under the National Youth Development Fund. Some of them did not submit business plans, and they need to work on those submissions. So of that, only 149 were approved, amounting to 51.6 million. This funding will create about 983 jobs across the country. 21 million has been dispersed, as I've indicated, with a further 10 million awaiting payment. Then there are about 15 applications that we were working on during the month of July. And this is the reason why Kavango East by Friday will report approval of over 20 applications. There are a further 25 applications that the regional offices by DBN, the 4 regional offices in the country, are working on, valued at about 15 million. So these statistics are as at end of June, and we'll provide updated statistics by next week or for the month of July. In terms of planned activities, we are busy procuring a panel of mentors and coaches. These are individuals that will provide training to potential youths and those that are approved under the National Youth Development Fund. So once we've onboarded them, we are going to have regional business management workshops together with the regional councils. So across the 14 regions, we will talk to the youths in terms of them submitting bankable proposals, or what do they need to submit to apply, how do they apply, what does a business plan constitutes, for them to have better chances of approval. And then those that are approved will obviously go through a mentorship program. Because of the limited access, DBN only has about 4 centers or offices. The country has 14 regions. We are planning on having satellite offices where we do monthly visits or quarterly in the respective regions where we do not have offices. We engage the youths and SMEs where they can inquire about their applications, DBN products, and how to submit applications with the bank. So these are the planned activities that the bank has. And then I wish to just touch on the implementation challenges over the past 9 months under the National Youth Development Fund. From our side as a bank, one of the first challenges we had was the quality of applications we received, and some of them were incomplete. Some of them were submitted without a business plan. Quite a number of documents or information was outstanding. So that made it very difficult for us to appraise and give them an answer. The feedback from the applicants as well, we will try and contact some of them. Their numbers are not reachable. Or when we ask questions and updated quotations, it takes a very long time to get that information back from the applicants. I've indicated the contact information. Some of them, they are not reachable on the numbers provided there. So it becomes very difficult to contact them. And then there's the business management skills. Money alone is not enough. We've realized that quite a number of the youths will really need training on how to run a business. The accessibility of DBN offices, Omaheke, maybe Kavango, West Zambezi, Southern Namibia. You know, when youths want to engage, it becomes very difficult if there's no person they talk to. And then there are compliance issues, like registration, your tax certificates with BIPA. When you ask them, please, we need registration documents, you know, some of them probably don't have money to even register a business. So these are some of the challenges that we've faced. And then its capacity at DBN. In the past, we could only appraise about 400 or 500 applications in a month. When the program was launched, we got 9,000 applications at once, and this is why it took a bit long and we still have a backlog of those applications. Nonetheless, there are solutions in place, and in the next slide, I will touch on some of the solutions to the challenges that we are experiencing. The other issue is maybe more the guidelines that have been provided by government. Not that it's an issue. Sure. Okay. Yeah, we understand. Yeah. And then it's obviously the impact, the regional offices, because of the number of applications that came at once. We do not only do the National Youth Development Fund, there are other products that are offered by the SME department and the bank. And then there is the backlog of applications that I've touched on. Of the challenges that I've explained, these are the possible solutions. The incomplete applications, I've indicated that we will do training in all 14 regions. The skills, when you are approved, it's mandatory. Everyone that is approved will go through the mentorship program for accessibility. We intend on opening satellite offices to speed up payment or disbursement. We are going to review our processes. We understand that they can be cumbersome. For those of you that wish to protect their businesses in the event of death or disability, we are going to introduce credit life or life insurance. It's not a must, it's an option for those that have approved facilities, and just to involve quicker decision making. We have actually waived good standing certificates on the National Youth Development Fund. So some of those compliant documents, like your good standing certificates from NAMRA and BIPA, under DBN, other DBN products, they are required, but under the National Youth Development Fund, we do not require that. So we've waived all those documents. And the backlog of applications that we have at the moment, we intend on using technology to see how it can help us fast-track appraisal and identify incomplete applications. We have high unemployment in the country. We have recruited interns as well as other fixed-term employees, and we are confident that in the next 3 months, all the 983 applicants under the National Youth Development Fund will receive feedback. The feedback will be twofold. When the program was launched, applications were done through the governor's offices. And then from January this year, youths have been able to submit applications at the DBN offices. So feedback will be provided both to the regional councils and the governor's offices and to the applicants individually. In terms of the second last slide, the National Youth Development Fund is a product under the SME department. We also offer other SME products for those that are over 45 and they are not female, the males. So we offer asset-based finance for equipments and vehicles. We offer term loans, contract-based finance. These are for clients that have tenders with government and other entities. We give performance guarantees. To date, in Kavango East region, all over the past 10 years, we've provided 59 million in SME financing. That's excluding the Youth Development Fund. And in Kavango West, we've approved loans worth 30.7 million over the last 10 years. There are other innovative or policy-based lending products that we manage. It's a skills-based facility to address youth unemployment. So if you have an NQF level 3 or level 7 qualification and you are a graduate from the vocational or university, if the job market cannot absorb you and you can't get a job, we can provide you funding to start your own business. The minimum loan amount is 60,000 with a maximum of 1 million. Then there's the economic recovery loans. These are loans that we give when there is a major pandemic. For instance, if it's more acts of nature under the COVID pandemic, if your business was affected and it needed that financial assistance to survive, we do have such a facility. There's a credit guarantee facility. If your loan is approved and you do not have collateral as an SME, there is a facility that is available to provide collateral for you. All you need is just to get an approval, and the guarantee facility under Nasria will provide collateral. And then lastly is the National Mentorship and Coaching Program. At the moment, under the normal SME products, you need to have an approved facility or loan from the bank for you to qualify for that. But there are also business management workshops under the National Youth Development Fund. I have come to the end of the presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Masiku. Please, another round of applause for Mr. Masiku. I think the presentation is very clear. Do I need to interpret slightly or are we fine? Excuse me? Are we fine? So there's no need to interpret or to summarize. Okay. Thank you, Mpandu Nene. Asita nikakama motu pka ununu nye. Unene po presentation izi kwa hamene unene ngwe kwa ababana kutumbrasi wa youth. Abakaranya sonaka no mvura kuwarika 18 do group of 45 years. Asiko zili product is government za retesa po is our implementer no 4 institutions. Ezakaranya zimwe DBN, zimwe EIF, Agribank tana NAMPOST. Okay. Ozo institutions zimwe wapa ozo opportunity ngezika implement as project as DBN azo unene pongwe ku covering atupu nadingeti na no product twaho kutumbagura mara kwa karaponye tupuni Kenya serisi gonya ses product kwa karazongwe kwa tambesere ko wanona gona ndi ko akara nomvra dina na tumbura tani hena no requirement dazo asu kwa didi sesupika asinsene owe kunazi hafe kuza ono haranyo apply mazezi programs o karangese ndi ezi watu lisa pezona kutumbras NYDF azo o karenye ogwane mbatere kwa zezi program asika pingano ya ya firas yokare no imali wana ngato hedere ko tupse okara no ideas no business idea ngato atkuvatere azo zakara nyas mbili ha unene kupita kana no program na dinge didimwe no funding solution areas gava DBN iyonye va gava dina no statistics na dinge dina kapita po asi ose tunakaro munyas vase sugona wakara se monomvore dituna tumbura sene okara no nazozo business idea hara kurugana hedera tukombere wazetu nye tukakupemo dononzi asi unene po statistics wazigawanare waleta nikatumbura se amengoe gumwenye nakarasi nakarera pues mbere ha omorundu tangampa mkumonya mes program kwa kurugana apa tunakarangesi paneina za funding ako no namba no sure dongandiomu za funding ako no accommodation facility dakaras no guest house no lodges no ikwao tani no ngesefa dono nungwe mo welding mo construction okunika no ndopi no ikwao ngoso so twalifa unyenya si ininke wale wantu tupa uza va tusimitire ndi vanike inke nye mara is program kwa kurugana so tuhederen tubukombere wazetu omunye natukagwana mu mauzera gomanja singap natukavura kagwana mbatero mazezi program ngwe pa usupi ngwe nazeresa po kaununu ya wapa sanyopo okay so kukwamanye ko program zetu ngata pa kawizanye mpito zomapuro no malimbururo mara tunahepanya si kapisi tukagawenye ninke dononzi kwa hara kupura tupurentu mapuro tugani ninke nga karego masupi iponya sikunisera ruweze wamwe ure tunatundu wamwe ko kaisosi wamwe ko vungu ipo tukavure as tukasike ko mambo getu no ruweze tusupipike ile ninye mapuro getu ipo tukagwane malimbururo okay I think we'll move now to the next agenda point, that is Q&A in the question and answers. So, but we encourage everybody to be precise. Let's not try to give political statements. Let's get to the point in the best interest of time. But I just got a request here that I should touch a bit on the skills-based financing that we're offering. It was mentioned during the presentation, tanzimo tupunye maraka letu kaununu. Asi kwa kumoneka omo Kavango zetu, ndi Kavango East. Kwa karamo UNAM, kwa karamo Vocational Training Center, kwa karamo nosure dononzi. Ano as program wana kutumburanya skill-based funding, azo kuvatera oena wamana sure po levels ozo nzokumana techniques zokumana ko UNAM ndizo kumana ko sinke seka pyo gwana irugana kuvuro hedere komberehwa towiza no proposals ogeto fela no form dakarapo asiwaka kuvatere nyense ngwe wale makeninga kuvura nyokara soli kutenya moge okapature ngarase no kagwanamo nsonso zo kuvatera Asies program kuvatera nye vantu okulisiga wakariasi wa makeninga, wakariasi wa artisan, wakariasi no welders, wakariasi no ndokotora, wakariasi senetupasi eirugana kuvura oyo walirongera kuvura okavarike ngesefa panyamoge azongako zili mpito zokarangose zinavuraka kuvatera. So ngwe momuna na ningirenyas moraru weze wale tuhederentu bukomberehwa natsuga no details de toku okunomvura kutugwana ngwe pazere opo ose to aplikara nozera okuyukilira asingano kuvura kuhedera komberehwa zetu ngwe momuna naye uyunga mberehwa zetu kwa karera mo MVA building opapakara pakaras GIPF mwina imotwakara se kwa haranye uzera kuvarekera mungura kuvura kuhedera kombere wazetu tukampemu mauzera na wanya asikuzera unene nsini twakara stwava alitwa hingire tumfuatuiremo Okay, thank you. So we are gonna move to the next point, Q&A. Tatu kusanya swantu tatu poruveze. Mora kuninkira ruveze. So tatu kawale kanya wale nazo na presentations okuhowa. Se kuvura tu yungeni mor ingirisa wakwetu wanaga wana presentation kuyungaro ingirisa. Tuhetekeni mor ingirisa. Okay, nambili rukangali na tuheteka kutranslate. So I'll move. Yes. Okay, so okay, now
Ya mpandu kompitwe zina agwana wa corona okuhara. Tan kampandura nono mpitisirie da karum. Dina langena kuyunganya mya mtenya Johannes. Ose nare to agusa wana business yo morundu. Mampli kota te governor wa divangi. Ya DPN kapsiasi wali mbere wa zakara ure. Keno za po ihaya ya ndama service. Topita Caroline tungo wa kutumburasi liwa wowe na wena ombere wazina za hamena kevu liokuwa makoli awo difogwa nenoredi DPN mbere weza karera pa wanangese fanye DPN udigu wakaramo hamena kuyunga kwa ziremo anka gwana mo mati ogwarugana mo DPN tata andere ngiasi wakara no faramandi kwato wakara nonzugo ze kuma kwato wakara netua kwato kapto qualify koku kapta pay maliwa nyengese fazange ame kwa register ngese fazange kwa register ko bipa nyeko DPN kapto ka qualifiers ntudio kare no farama o kare nonzugo ze kuma netua tano qualify ko DPN Twaka kere no sigongi konkure nkuru so wana ngesefa no nane minister owe na wakere ko wadinkantu nyenges kamna dia me posa msike wa pezo minister konkure nkuru DPN poga kakere yili na no tanderange agri banki poga kakere ole puro na kalipulire simpe komeho zao yingi aikare ya so shapanatu zako agri banki antudio weke farama ose no farama kwato Oweke etua kupinani gwana mekwa hara openge imali wanika wekesa awa wakara no imali wa weka nare ntantan kwa kia tanterasi asita atu watere ngapya mna atu watera awo kapya atu watere nanare
Ewa twazuveni we'll take 4 more questions before we. Ewa tulizuveni. Okay, so the gentleman that stood up now, it's more of a concern than a question. His concern is there has been engagements in the past between DBN and stakeholders, aspiring business people and so forth. However, up to date, there are no solution offered. He's basically saying he's approached DBN in the past, but he was requested to provide collateral in the form of a house, a farm, and so forth. But I guess we'll attend to that. Thank you. So we'll take 4 more questions, and then we can attempt to answer.
Ewa ngoro zetu mpunga zeharo pomuhowo nikadimburure ekaro polio wa corona wetu otate meya no vakansela vetu. Ininke ndi mbudi apa aziwizako vantu, ngweze zikaziwizire ezi. Iyo mwakumona sivaro sokuhurapa. Otate gavana, ngano iwo vahovere walevena vakariasa wale ngano ige gavana gwetugopo mhowo. Otate hambiuka mugara kuyunga, kapisi ipempa na kuyunga. Vampitisili vetu, kwa kututa kavata mwinine nawa, kenye kukazuvireko radio yetu ya pongere ngesi. Ntani ehudi unene, apa mwakugawa vakupresenta, kapipwa kara mtoroki. Inatu divasi omu, kwa kara mwantu wokulisiga. Tufuma dekeni wakonde asi, satoka soge sarere masamkweni. Tani iyo mtuzuviro seku yungasi, tuwahara unene wakawango kutumbura ko north. Mora, we are different. Ininge ngano ko wambo ya kara ngano kwa tokwa kuyunga mo muru ingilisa. No, kwa kutanika tuwara kweika wa uyungiro tate gavana, tatuka applyane, udona kwa kara konombere wa detu. Tanika gawa sihone na kamnara kutemweni na o brother. Name munangesefa, mutungi mogo mondama, vakwetu vamwe na vamonoko veli kuina tuvanzi. Kwa kapura nge epurwasi, you have a farm. I'm a small business, kuna nizikuwa na farama. You have a house, kwa haraka hoko nengen, ninge, piali ange nonzuko zange panani dirakavura kagafuto goma Kongo. Imo ya kumonekerange. Tanika hagera popena. Konombere wa detu ose kwa ku-applya. Ozo application senenga wazimona ndala ndi intumba. Ozo application form tawazitura kohi. Zaha usiku. Izo na matura kontunda. Ufeke mauli monombere. I'm not joking. Tanko ni manese. Don't worry. Okay. Ngano matupeko suruo, vantu ngavanzi vakara, they have a lot of questions. Don't think that I cannot talk English, I can talk Mara, tribalism, nazo mozili hena. Konombere woko, otate hambiuka kawatu zikidirasi, vakansela namveye na muhepa, ngani ya tarasi, kansela msingi ya uzano vantu wovanzi. Sene ni pura se Rundu ebe ni katuke ni mtaras mwanga mwakara mwa Rundu ebe. Kakumane sa tupuna kauke. Fine. Na gawere example ikawa uyungire otate gavana. Vanambere wawetu mwakara no ufeke. Tani epuro liange I have 3 questions. Ngwendi yo kuhamena ina waho iyo ya DPN yoyo. Amen. Nagwana nare maua ko Ministry of Trade. Sene na haraku apply nyoko ko DPN nyoko. Kuvura waka gapenge ndi kuvura waka purenge hena yono farama. Ntani hena. Sene asi amena register business zange. Ozo bipanye momtumwa kuimona si nongesefa kaptuputu da kugenda. Nongesefa na doda agara hena katongo tongo. Si hone na kwa kuimona mwa kuimona. Ipito inzitu akara nayo. Ndi mwina wanikasi po ile iwa kuyaponga. Wale wapuro konyasi. One wahonzi. Twamuhepa. Muya honze special uniform, school uniform. Twakara noninke. No mapuro gomanzi ko uniformu. Kamnati wa walinga tuitwara kwa president ndingapi mwa wapeke kuireta. O sengesi kuyukira sure za alpo. Alpo gatu nyoge sasi kaptatu honzo no uniform dendi. Yoga kuta mitri ogwarongo pongondo ode ko South Africa ose siru ose kwa kuhonza uniform ngosa development msimu haramo Kavango acho se vantu woruhepo ose kapisi vantu woruhepo please vakansela vetu kwakuizuva mwakuizuva ose wokuhonza twakala no problema ase belief ozo DPN amenga ntengura ko mungura ngatu zeni momena ka uyungura tate gavana si taya tupe imali wandi ngapi imoka wa uyungire we need money watoka tupura no faramano no nzugo ipo na hagere popo
Ewampandu. Asika pakara epuro lepuko ndi akupulira mapuro ipotugwana ruzera ndingapi. So there's no wrong or right question. So we're asking questions so we can get clarity. Okay, so Mr. Mbangu, Honorable Mbangu, should we interpret or okay, okay, so I think this was more of a mixture. Part of it is directed to DBN, part of it is directed to the regional councillors and the leadership here. So her main question that I think is directed to DBN is she's a beneficiary of equipment aid fund from Minister of Trade. When she comes to DBN, can she still be assisted for equipment for her? Can she still be assisted? That is more like the question. Okay. She does sewing of clothes and all that. Thank you. Okay, so we're gonna take 3 more questions, and then we provide answers. Okay, tanko tulizuveni. To avoid any kugawano ninke. Seno mapro to akara to pureni kwa yewa presenter. Ezimbere waze puko nye to kwara kuiretero. Tuzeni tu pure mapuro getu kwa yewa presenter. Let's ask question related to the presentation. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity granted. My contribution is to all the present institutions here. Thank you for your attention. So, to DBN, for me, the presentation was not really what I expected, because for a big region like Kavango East, and for a town like Rundu, you're supposed to break down for us, out of the 22 billion, how much was funded towards Kavango East or Rundu specifically? Because the information shared was just generalized. The only good news was from the NYDF. Again, with NYDF, the 60,000 to 200,000 for startup projects. What can you really do with 60 to 200? I know it's something, and at least it's coming from our government. 60,000 for a region like Kavango East, where we depend, for example, in agriculture, like water and infrastructure related towards water, cost way more expensive than the 60 to 200,000 that is given for that. So perhaps maybe one must look at the regions and the need for that region when you are putting up these criteria. Secondly, we have issues with what business projection that you mentioned. You need to project your business. Imagine telling an elderly that is having a garden at a riverside to come up with their financial projections. It will not make much sense to them because they don't know these things. For them, they are more of practical people. So at least practical solutions for practical people, not just these technical solutions. The other input is that the DBN for her, for me, I find it very troublesome. It's a good initiative, but why create a solution for now and create a problem for tomorrow? Because now you are living out also a boy child, and in the next 10 to 20 years, you will have, or you will sit with that same problem. You could have said 70% should be owned by male, by female, and 30% by male. Because even those beneficiaries, you claim that in the past it was mostly men dominated. We are talking about BEE people, the same people. Yeah. The same people that have been benefiting from these projects. And then for our governor have been on the drive to advocate for a bread basket. But bread basket, when we have produced enough, where do we store them? Where do we store these bread and basket yields? Yeah. And then to town council, you have land. Can the three institutions I mentioned not come together? You set up warehouse or store, store facilities that can at least help accommodate these people also. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I think that is more encouraging. I think this is how we should structure our questions. Let's try to be brief and straight to the point. Can I get 2 more questions and then we, okay. 2 more questions, which will make it round 1 and then we move. Gender equality, please.
Ewa, pandu kompito na guana. E puro liangele supi tupiu, kwa hara tupuka pura si. O tuazua si no lone da vuru kugawa kwa wantu okuli siga. Ame kwa hara tupuka pura nyasi. O wa penolon. Wo tupua kara no nongese fanare dononzu nini. Ndino wa street venda na okuvura qualifier. Mora wa street venda mwakumona. Ngano kwa guana sili ngazukuni ngasi wakulike no ngese bada nganga dizakure nyopo kwato kwa tareho kwa wasensa mora warandi siromo street.
Thank you. The question is with regards to DBN facilities, does DBN only consider fully fledged business women and men or even street vendors? Cliffy, is the question clear? Okay, thank you. So one more last question, then we go for answers before we pick another round. Thank you.
Yaro mpandu kombito ezna guana. E puro liangeta likazangesi. Pomoho na haraku pura siva ningiasi. Ngano vano na wo 29. Vena vanona wa 29 kwa kumona si ngano inge na bakarera mongese fanare. Vanona wa 29 ngoso kubapa imaliwa makura nare mapia ganoga wiza kwao morawo kapati basimbe nongesefa. Ano bakondi abakarere pwasi ngano iwona avura gwana imaliwa bairuganese. Kapwa kubatareho apana bazakonomberewa kwa kabatanderasi. Tudi agave farama ndi agiaka renembole nene waliapanga pila kuvura ipo waka iguse. Tani ei mwena hara kupura yei. Nani siruo mkwasi ngenga ihaga yeyo kukumbagira mokavango bantu. Tuagendi ikando wale ne inange sautano. Tuakere ko Kavango Regional Council yokuhame nangesefa kapitatu ya suwole bagwana ko ina imaliwa. Tuayekere na simu sigongiso imaliwa. Dogorone ineli kareteni imbapira tuakana imbapira inzi batutuma. Nangesi tuakara ko bipa tuakara no makongo ga bipa. Mora kwa tose wa mwana oketa lingatu rugana. Nye kwa kudipa wove na warugana hena monomberewa. Makuro uwidina ni ezo minga uhaga. Eningilire mwezo mingali haga. Owe kurugana momberewa. Kapio hara kusigira vena wakara ponze. Apili kurugana kepangero wakwane ko yuma. Tom zikita tupu bandu wa manesuru osao. Kuyapura kene mwa kumbagera. Ili chinjeni koko ye ininge. Mwa kumbagera wakweni. Mundu seneto uyunga usiri. Okawe kowe na wakulira kapisto wakumbagere hena. Tareni ulati mwa wareta. diworokeni asinyengo mwabapa kumbagira bantu sikongisa unena sautano sekapinapuka twakano idokomende yoyinzi twamorsa imali wa kurandaranda business plan simbapira kota teile bena makurezwa mzinga yaka Kavango ninkhwiliromo sene unombera wakakulia imali uhakekeni peniko bakweni bahingire mu mambo yosiri kwa kuhepa ipo tupire kulichange sozo 600 turukane panyamwe tu 600 kapitwa kuzikwana simbeto mzitu mukatuchoka tukawize tuyamane siruwo wana mbere wahakekeni witi
Mpandu. Asuwali tukagaweni mpitonye tukalimbure gena mapuro wana hokpura tana tukagusaye na mapuro gokwamako tango si tugaweni mpito tukagwane malimburo kagoge na mapuro gana hokwiza taniye na twikira ino mapuro hena. Okay, so let's give an opportunity for the presenters just to answer the questions that were earlier on posed before we move to the round of our next questions. So, okay, so the last question, again, is a combination. Number one, why are we forcing people of the age of 29 years to be in business when they don't know how to run businesses, control money, and all that? All right. Thank you. Okay, tulipura keneni? No, you can have it. You can just keep it. Yeah, just call me your name. Okay, tulipura keneni? Asi agama puro gana kara straightforward. Aganan kavura kalimbura, patan kalimbura. Ogenagamu kara technical, nan kagawampito kwa kwetu wakazemo.
Okay, so we'll start with the lady that asked the question about, she already got, from the Ministry of Trade, she already received implements and machinery, whether she will qualify for DBN for her. Yes, she will still qualify to apply. So that one was another product, this is another product. As long as the business is viable and so on, she's eligible to apply. And then there was a gentleman that asked to say that we did not say how much we have invested in Kavango East. So when I actually did my presentation, I started with that. I said that for the past 10 years, we have invested 154 million in Kavango East. And then I said for the DBN for her, this is quite a very new product that we've launched only 3 months ago. For that, we have approved 5.3 million and 2.3. So the majority of those funds was actually approved for Kavango East, for your region. And then there was a gentleman that said practical people, financial projections, and so on. So you do know that at the end of the day, we are still a bank, né? Under the Youth Development Fund, that is money that the government gave us. So we are administering it on behalf of the government. So there we have relaxed conditions because we want to empower and assist our people. But then for the rest of the funding, we also have to go out into the market and borrow money. So because we borrow that money so that we can on-lend it to you, we need to look at your business to see at those projections whether you will be able to repay, because we also need to repay this money. Yeah, so that's the reason that we ask for that. And then we are not leaving out the boy child. The boy child is there. The past financial year, of the loans that we have given, only 5% went to women. What does it mean? What did the boy child get? 95%. And we are still continuing with products, other products that we have. But just because we want to correct, you know, for the women, we want to correct and also bring them into the main economic stream. That's why we launched this product. It will not exclude the boy child at all. We continue business as usual, but we just want to empower the women on the other hand. Okay, and then there was a suggestion about 3 institutions coming together to do that. So earlier today, we did have meetings with the governor's office, with the local authorities. So we are in discussions about how we can help develop the town. And then the question about the street vendors, whether we only look at well-established businesses, fully fledged businesses. We've got an SME department that also looks at small businesses. So the vendor can also organize herself and with the assistance of DBN. So we also give mentoring and coaching where we can assist you on how you can account for the things that you sold today. You sold 200 today, tomorrow you are buying. So we have those programs to help you also to become a fully fledged businesswoman. So we can also assist vendors. And then there was a question, I'm not sure if I got it correctly from my colleague, about why we are giving money to the youth, because they don't have the capacity to run. Okay, so I've kind of answered this question previously where I said that we've got mentorship and training programs, and we are running workshops in the different regions where we equip the youth so that they are able to run businesses. And I mean, we have to start somewhere. We cannot just exclude the youth, especially unemployment is very high in the youth. That's why this product is specifically targeting them. Thank you.
Pandu. Apisi twagwana sai malimbo rakatuna papara. Okay, tango tuhedenye ko side yoku. I think it's fine. I don't Tatuiza. Okay, so we're gonna take 5 more questions. Okay, waliko meunigawe mpito. Tunaka huyu ngeni asimwa wizire ko DBN tawe mpura makara no farama makara no sinke. Okay, kwa kara po elisigo agribank no DBN. Se kwa kuninga yo agriculture panomza wale koninga kwa agribank mahara yo agriculture wali kona kampura yo no farama no ikwa. Kapta diwas mor pemsinke vampero ndi vampulira smakara no farama. Mare to akuyungas ko DBN, most of the conditions are relaxed. Kapta pura collateral hena. So the asset that we are financing in itself can be a collateral. So na perception to akara nazonya nseno muzako DBN tatu ampura collateral ngwe tuziguseni mo kanunu. Yo to akuninga sederen kombere watu ya mpe mo dononzi. Asi inkia wapurasi no ikwa oyo. Oyo no farama no nonzugo tu iguseni mo no mtwe for now. Tuhederen kombere watu kagwanemo mapukuro gomanzi. Pandu.
Angurowa. Dina lyange Maria Kudumo. Epuro lyange kwa kuza. Ame kwa kupura tupu mapuro. Pomuhowo kwa kukanderera ndita ni pura tanko wa rugano mo DBN. No application form dua kunikasta wakaditura kunombere wa doa kansela wetu Monzira. Kunombere wa dao mara oena wantu kuvura upure pamoto gusafoni to bela kombere ohara kamona kansela ndipo ile ohara kapura. Ngororo kame dogore na neli hapana ima nango simba kapina wana mbatero ya kwa kansela wetu wa mu mbero ya kansela yetu wa mu Rundu Eben. Kwa hiya kutukubela kaya kutukubela dogodoro wetu kutame kara Juni ya mchi Julai. Na shana tumberewa ya kansela wetu wa Rundu Eben maruwa ni wanepa kukuchinja na kanderere. Benapu yuka kulipuro ameona kuyukira kumbanga mapuro andi kuna kuyuka tukumbanga yabaka mali oyotu na yuvu yabaka mali mbatero yabaka mali iya atoto ayendireko tokawane mbatero yaiwa akatupukuire nawa wikaratu pia mtu rambeo nyama namba abanane shi tunahepa kukara na odo business plan walenjo tupia mbuto mnyima tanfe Kenya kurengashi Cost and price nya finance statement ndi Kenya joina yima nene mara vakatulimbwire nawo akapi vakalire ruti ndi vakalire utwini twakawani nemo muntu wakatantiro no watu akatipukuiro nawa lipuro liande na shana duno application for her ndi for her ndiba nagamba dado kudiwana kuni kumberewa yabo ndiko kubana kwamba kumberewa daba kurona ventundi tani lipuro liande lya uvili kenatu yuka bank statement na yuvu na kenge maninke yabo shi njoka na kawani nekunya ashi unaepa kara okay na business yandi ayima na kare na register kare na mira mama namba unyande na mini muhonji amemwande kwa shonga ngamo kaba studente ina yendi ure hambara na kara na mwaka dakutika podona na kubatira ba cost na France dimbare kepa no kwande babatumanga makula lipuro lande kuna kaya weno atoba mwe dande opona rengo sina kuya yima na nawa na wana koro yanda ninke account yande kuna yima na from January dogoro pano na yima na personal account ya business account yona kwambashi kare 12 month ameka pinaka kuna kare yande ina yimi na kara yuwalika mara kuna yima na 6 month personal account yona pura nayo kashikuna yima na 6 month makura lipuro leande shili ngaba kambate randi ndingaba kambiuta kaba kantandereja katate dongo ngai kawani te 12 month oyo business account ndi kuvura ngaba kambatere olyo ndio lipuro lyande ntani mbiye nakuya kubantu ndi kubana small business abanyama tiro simpe kabana shana kapatura business dabo mara babo simpe kapiba kara na account dabo kuvura vakamuvatere ndi mara ndi nakuvura shi opanya ndio tupu lipuro na kara nalyo mara kutwara mubirua na vyoera mtu ayendire kotwe tukawane ukenu wawa kuvura bakupukure nawa anivyo binaku yatulimbo this is plain kuna kakupura 3000 oyongo yoye kama nankaniyo yakuna kachwa kuchangire na vinche kuna kainda ku 5000 ove weni muyu wanainya mbongo tunakuyadera mara bininke vura watu batere toko tukenge tutatamika taristi ambe kevino toko tuwa pervede tukenge shweni pandu.
Okay, thank you. I think the question is very straightforward. Firstly, the first question was directed to the regional council. Yeah, Rundu Eben. I think we leave it to them. The second one, it was more of the requirement of DBN, the 12-month bank statement, the business should have an account and all that. In her case, her business is about 6 months, her personal account is about 6 months, so she can only draw 6 months statement. Are we able to assist her? That is more of her question. Yeah. Okay, so just one more question, and then we.
Thank you very much. I will speak first in the language where the official of DBN will understand. My name is Romanus Kanjimi, a resident of Kavango East. And I'll make it clear. Take your pen, write my number. 081 2755 722. Today is almost my 5th time to sit in the meeting of DBN. But let me go first to the question before I'll make the comment. One, if I'll ask here, these people here, you see, they are gone because of the untruthful story from DBN. If I'll ask here, who have a bread bakery in Rundu? Can one stand up? The answer is 0. 2, who have a business, proper constructed business building in Rundu? Stand up. 0. 3, who have a proper construction company which's been funded by DBN, building the houses you were referring there. 0. Who has trucks funded by DBN transporting things from point A to point B? That truck was bought by DBN. The whole Kavango, east and west. 0. I am challenging you today. Enough is enough. DBN, the name Development Bank of Namibia. I have been asked this question for 5 times. Today 6. To develop who? The answer, those friends and cronies which are floating with money. Kavango today, we have construction companies which are building schools all over the region. Who is the owner of that business? Will you find in DBN any members from Kavango in that company? The answer is 0. My friend, good friend, I'll mention your name. My good friend Kamatuka. How many kilos from Rundu to Grootfontein? It's 250 or 60. Is there any service station? The answer is 0. How many kilos from Ondangwa to Tsumeb? Almost 240. How many service stations along the road? How many kilos from here to Nkurenkuru? 133. Is there any service station? 0. How many kilos from Rundu to Divundu? It's 200 kilo. Is there any service station? 0. But I saw DBN. I saw DBN demanding 28 million, I don't want to mention people. It was in the newspaper where they get money to build service stations. How many service stations DBN sponsors in Kavango? Mention 1. 0. How many companies from people in Kavango who are supplying food to schools as caterings? Mention 1. 0. Come on, guys, let's stop lying. 5 years, or I can say 10 years ago, DBN was here. Some people are still alive. One of them is my good friend, like Mr. Gamatuka, Yorome Mutumba. They were here with the CEO. They told us, I heard that statement from one of your presenters. If you want money, go to BIPA and register. Come on, guys. Let's not fool people. Enough is enough. We registered company 6, 7 years ago. I think it's 5 months ago, BIPA came here, deregister people because you didn't operate, and they fined them. They are receiving bills, 3,000. If you want to do this, pay BIPA this. BIPA, my own money, I go and buy the paper to register. Now you are closing it, I must pay you. Who are you? The name, let me explain it clearly. My friend Kamatuka, you know, it used to be in the colonial time, Volkskas for the whites. Am I lying? It used to be Volkskas. That time, white, they consider themselves folks. We were not. Now we are also people, Namibian, DBN, the answer in this region is useless. The last, I heard someone was presenting, they're saying, get piece of land, you go and maybe you want to construct and develop, you will get loan. Come on, go and check in your record. August 9, 1919. We and my colleagues, we apply that time, and we still have it with the minister advocating, ministerial approval to give us piece of land in Rundu Town Council. The Honorable Mayor, you are here, you must listen to it. We must build on that land. We went to DBN. We have the paper, the town council approved, the minister approved, approval, we must have that piece of land. We must build houses to sell. You know what DBN was telling us? Go and pay the town council first. Then you can come and get the loan. If I have money, why I will come to you? If I have money, why I must come to you? But here, colleagues, you stand and telling people, we approve these millions, we have this, Kavango East, Kavango what? Please stop it. Why the hall is empty? Because they know the same untruthful 10 years ago is the same untruthful you are standing and telling us here. Our people suffer, yes. If you guys no time, don't call us. Let's make the point clear here. We have mothers here who want to do something, but they cannot get it. Your policies is like a normal bank policy. You have SME here. It used to be in the bank. Now you have it. When I leave, I give you my number. You tell me which country, which have been 30 years plus after independence, and you are still talking SME. We are sick and tired, guys. Sorry, Mama. Sick and tired. Tell us the truth. You go with your DBN, you close it, and you leave us in poverty, or you change your name because it doesn't suit. To be honest, people are fed up. Thank you.
Mpandu. I think let's try to attend to the questions. Natum pako suru, tupenu ko tupukanenu.
Answer.
Is that mine? Oh, okay. Thank you, thank you. I think I can just say.
Two questions.
Which one are
The 6 months bank statements.
Yeah. Okay. Wale kuka kuningisira siruonye ruveze rwakatusigapo. Pomho katuyungose mbere wazetu ngeza yapa turuka morundomu. Sene twakare ninye nomaudi kugongandi akagakere ponare kapaga solva. Tuhederen kombere watu taras ngap na tuliwatera. Nonzira nonzi dokuliwatera tuhederen kombere watu taras ngap na tuliwatera. So DBN cooperator tulizuveni
Operating businesses, that's how we verify your income. However, if a business
ewampandu waleta ngotutuka limburu egena mapuro gatundu limwe konane asimo mtu aidiweni ezimbere wazetu na kutumbras DBN ku operate ngwemo. Halo kwa tulizuveni. Okay, he's just raising. Okay, okay. So he's just raising a concern that people that were seated behind, they couldn't hear us because the speakers are not coming out clear. Naika tu digoperanye wale kazigira. Okay, tango tu hetekere ko tupoe na kaununu. Morana ika tu digoperanye pokuzigira osewamwe mazui kapsigo. Ekani hara kuyunga ngwe ununu askulimbura tupunya pa. Asi DBN ku operator ngwe mono guidelines that tulisa posurongo. Ninke mwat gawa ko public ye ibachanga mono veta de that policy ratukare pas to operate. Mara yotoa kuminkarejanya si kabisa naye yalifana tomu hedere tukombere wazetu na tu trita case zenyo mza kara na tu advice anya so ne business zeni ntanza kubareka wale no requirement ngezi ezeni zakara pono novura dononzi wale maninga inge onengezi no murugana. So every case is treated differently. For example, a business that has been in existence for say 5 years, when you come to DBN, will require you to provide perhaps a 12-month statement. But for a startup that just started, it's very difficult to ask you for a 12-month statement or bank statement. So basically, this is the communication we are trying to put forth, that each case differs. So come through to our offices, then we'll be able to advise you one-on-one. Twaizuveni. Asi tuhedereni tukombere wazetu, natkavura kumuvatera apatuna hulire. Nongesefa dalisiga no requirement dalisiga. Ivana katumbura kwa sababu wana askupura si awe ogawe farama ogawe inke. Sene nyaso we kwa wizire kombere waza DBN aswa kuwatere nongesefa zoge wale no 200,000. enaka kupulira farama inke kapia kumaka ngwendi ninke pena. So ipo tuna kumninganyasi hedereni tupukomberwa zetu amemo mumberwa imonakara kuyunga rukwanga litatuyungera kalimwe tatulizuveni tatu tarasi ngapi natukamowatera. So eya horokere kono mvura dakapita koyo yapita. Apantanta ni twakuningasi katulonjere product twakutumburas DBN for her. Kabzakere ko 10 years ago. Senat ninganya stat kus experience horokere mo 10 years tuzerete paneina. E uzera tunakwara kumpanya mutu areko 10 years kabnaye katugenda. Tuninge ninyasi ininge kwa kulichinja mwina ya kulichinja imunumu no mgwana ngororo mawatero. Kapis tutare ni unene pena sinke ya horokere. Tuzendu ninge nyasi ya kuhoroka ngesi ngapi intaninga mnatvara kuliwatereni. Kapis ngwendi pazuvikopo. Yeah. Okay, makura wale tatkagawa tupumpito kaununu ko honorable Mbangu wa uyungeko tupuka ununu makura ntanatu katare nasingap na zeni komeho. Marangwe kwetu ose asuizen komberwa zetu kwa karamo MVA building pangesi natukampa malimburo nake nyaka muna hepa no mavatero nake nyaka muna hepa. Pandu.
Ya nguruva yenu asi pamuho tangu kuna kumpandwa na mvanche muna neda njara ya unangesefa wena miito kuno ndi wenu muna horo kutamika na munangesefa mbe muna ya muwingi wenu nakumpandora unene atuna karo kulitna yere muno vakasa na tuvanche kuna yatu ya tere mashiwa wenu mwa uyunga twa izuvu munzira mwakara antu anahanduka morwa walika pagwana makwafo kunyimoko mara wetu na horo ngoli wenu shikutunda ngoli pano wetu na horo tuwa kansela shi kiwa katiro mulishungi dolendi ku DBN tuya piti kombero za kansela semo Rundu eben to piti kombero za honorable Snoge msike ku Madina ipost no se tuwari kuvapuro se mutuke abantu wetu awa iwatra mahundirwa kupya gendera inike yao akara Murundu rural na yashwe Madina kumberwa yetu wa mashara na engoli wandonga na engoli postu ware tukengeshi kuyikuchinja ndi weni shani sha uwiri narago pakatiti unamono mkati na onosha umno murigen uraku ho batna kara na board of directors wa DBN okutunda murigen tango tumpe koruvete tango tukengeshi kutunda ngoli panone weni ngoli tutakwenda kumea la kunjua atuchetekereko tupu nabi yuwa karibu na kwamba allocation na karibu naimona tu achina imono na utaka na shigongi tulengi tuna ngoli pano how do we move forward. The message is that I'm trying to convey is very simple, just to say let bygone be bygone, but from now on moving forward let's start on a new page. Those that will be submitting the application to DBN, they should also pass the constituency officers so that they can also drop their names there, so that we can also help them to make follow-up. Yeah, I think that's a message. Utakutapa kwenu. Nakwata ninke mpindi tunakwata. Tukamadheno tutahulira shi. Tushetekereko. Ira service station tunamona onye tuamua wana service station mara Kavango kuno kwa application aendoko. Nige pale na karo ninke yakufana ngoli tuma application ya kumbero ya kansela. Kushua kulidina leo yekunya atu follow kuma. Ngatuka itanga shimpe ngaba tapeshi kutunda panya pa meeting yana mwinchi ngoli. Bantu watura mashungido wale 50 vanga shingoli na batereko ngatu barera tu pande unene.
Thank you. I think we na kenengoli ndi wenu wale in the best interest of time. I think then I will just call the chairperson of the Regional Council to give us a vote of thanks. Just like we said, our office is open. Let's forget what happened 10 years ago. We are here now. I speak the language, she speaks the language, and a lot of us speak the language that are working within DBN. So come through to our offices, we'll see how we can help you. Thank you.
Morokeni, ame nyame Stefan Snonge Mbangu, Councillor Gomorundu Eben. kwa kuzuwa masiwa nogeni mara twawareke ngesi kurugana oya koro kasi kanzu ko muyungi gumwe ka uyunga si asi kapai mona rumu asi DBN azigide vantu bahinjire ngesi mara otate ninkewena na watumbura kwasi bahinjire mo 2019 iponya si ozo programa mza kugenda ngoro ngesi tuzentu supporte ngororo tutarenya singe na ivura kuhoroka morwa ngesi twagwana ko manager ogwa karasi mo DBN mo moninge mo doropa zetu tate wizen sokomeo awo tate awakuvura tukugusa namba zao tombareke kuzogera ipogwa ni directive dogorosige moninge mombere wa zao nyena wasili senas mwaziko nose kuyatupukura koko kono constituency DRC siliko kapita inge wakauyunga ipo nose taras ngapi ipo twahundire nkena simpe ose apa natu yawareka simpe kugenda mono mkunda kuvura tuwazigide tatuzinawo koko mkunda twakare ndiko ndama ndiko masharewazi ndiko mkwewazi okoko mkunda wakamona wakurona owo ndiwo mkunda kuwasimba nao ipo waka ninke ngaya wapanya wawoku tani gwina mnona gona mgoli kadi gona gwina karere kwina nane skerete wizensioku awa nona nyamengani warongo ngesi akakara board of director makura ngoso ya wapa ngata tuyunga nyerukwanga linye ndita tuyunga rukawangonye toyukirenye kogogu Engelbert Tom kazogera pomuhoera moraigi akara no diwa yo iningi wale mambunga zeni wa gorikadi ndiwa samane ndi msamane geriki awiza tagawa udiguwendi nakugwara Engelbert gakona kumakasie kerasi wakona konja dogoro popo wa hagerasi oso sninke si henyewe ne si henye makuranga sika mkwane sa eskerete apana guru mga eskerete koka tuturo gakaroku pilipembo kuzatpa mnangi sningi sange ngapi amengata iwapa tupininge wagenda ngoso ya wagenda twa kare noli na wina woma kuninga si sene aplaya novura nozida piti ininge kwa kulichinja iponya ngoro tuzentu sindike Oma uyunga pa kwa uyunga 154 million 10 years izo dawiza mokawango sewa kutandero zo amount kapita ipura asiliza uiza ndi mara pamwe za uiza poweli owaigwana mara kapita adi wa noses makura wena wamu wakuninganya kwa kuapla ya Kenya pa kapa kuigwana ndi mara poweli wakuigwana nyeka nompito kapa kutandera kwa singapi ya irugana izonye problem zimo tu akara nazo zina nara mpilingo so vakansela nawe nye kuturako town council kwa kurugana unene kumwe nombere waza governor kenye no information kwa kulisharing apili oze ko gawe no ka uyunge ogawe na kuvera watantera singandia uzapa ya uyunga ngesi tuzentu mbatere ngesi imoto futa kurugana ngoso wali omakumona ngwe egwanekero lietu kwa kugenda lya kugenda pili ngoso karunga tswere watpekogu komeo kota watpeko nkena gumwe dokoro tukapite ntukaze pandu sulio tumna mzigidira ano tani karatu kupandura maraka nzumkuru ka digumwe kwina ka uyungo nane wenasi Kenya panga turuganse maraka getu ndi napo na watupu ose kupura kena kweya tu uyunga Kenya pa pweli mkweli ka digumwe ka pura pa epuro aswale kuza kombero wazange kapya wagwanange mulio unene sili seka mwagwanange hetekere niko mgwanenge tupu kamnakara na udigu yazuika sa ya o bantu mwatumbura nani kawasikisira mbudi ipo bachinje maudigu gao mara nawasilise mkara nkena no namba zange to mbelange to gwanange tumkena yazuika nawa natuhetekera ko bachinje sene wakara no udigu wao wakara no ina ininke ina yoko nyima ikare tupuyo ipyo kutwa kuzako meo ya tatpandura tupu wa kansela wa moneka nawe nyapa tani DBN Board of Directors na CEO akaromu otate Titus oyakarasi ininge kwa kulichinja vakwetu vakuro na tantani wakona guru mkwayagwane vantu okuvakara ngoso mtu ava richacha ngoso ya wapa apana akamona no application data ikagenda tatu apandura na wasi warugana nawa mokuiza vatantere ko eya kuhoroka vamwene inatwa izuvomu ndinga pa kwetu tanda pandura nkena vakurona na venye mwawiza omu kapsi urero twaidiwa pasi nomfato akara na doi inkainzi tu akara nayo nye mwali pyakdire muize oku oso sninge mulio unene sili sene okara kwa igongi nkenya hapa otariasi inge ya kupita kwa igongi gume gaziwa nare epukururo olyo nye vamwe neina vaya lizuvu ngoso mgura wakasika komberewa zo tate Engelhardt tani wanambudi wetu awakarangesi siroso sire kapsi ureru nao kuwagwana nkenya pa nye tawawiza okuwakara vantu asi tuzentu liture mona twenye vamati gona vakadona gona mwakara no magano gomanzi owena kunika sko arvits kwa kutunda kono no contractor da walirongere u contractor gena magano atumburo tate kuina kanjimiasi vanona onga kuwapa no loan waze komeho tanda siotwa hara yoyo se waliponga ikawa karewa wali watatu nare ka company ka karap kurata tusindikeni ngoro tarasinge na yohoroka okwa wasindike nkenya pa kutunda ko yuma ndinga pa kwetu twakare ngwenda siose wakawango karangororo no twakona kuchinjo eninke ngano kweitwa yazuva pana twenye pandu sili wa kwetu kweima uzana mvenye kato mpandura sili
Okay, hasta tumpandura hena nose asingano zenino mbili pandu zonene